Trigonometric equations. The first type of trigonometric equations a trigonometric equation is an equation with only one trigonometric function. For example, we have example 1. Solve each equation on the interval from 0 to 2 pi. And we have 4 cos theta plus 2 is equal to 4. So we have the first type of trigonometric equation, that this equation has only one trigonometric function, cos theta. There is no sine, there is no two of different ones. Okay? So how do we solve this? First we isolate cos theta. We need to find clear cos. Okay? So first bring this 2 over on the other side. So this gives me 4 cos theta is equal to 4 minus 2, which is 2. I bring this over 4 minus 2, which is 2. And then we divide by 4. So we have 4 cos theta divide by 4, 2 over 4. So 4 divided by 4 is 0. 2 and 4 reduces by 2, so it's 1 and 2. So what I'm getting is that cos theta is equal to 1/2. Okay, so now we need to find for what theta we have that cos theta is equal to 1. How do we solve this one? So if I have that cos theta is equal to 1/2, first I'm getting the reference angle, theta reference. Reference angle I'm getting from the chart, that theta, for what theta cos is 1/2. For what theta cos is 1/2. If we look from the chart or using the triangles, we know that cos theta is 1/2 for what theta for pi over 3. So we have that theta is pi over 3. Now, that's not the only theta that it's there between 0 and 2 pi. Now I need to check where my cos is positive. So I'm using the quadrants, add sugar to coffee. Cos is positive in the first quadrant and in the fourth one. So for the first, my reference angle is pi over 3, so that's my theta. And for the fourth quadrant, I need to find this angle. If I know that my reference angle, the small one is pi over 3. So that would be the whole revolution minus this pi over 3. Whole revolution is 2 pi, or in terms of thirds, 2 whole 2 in terms of thirds is 6/3 pi. So this angle is 2 pi except pi over 3. So final answer for this is theta is equal to, from the first quadrant was pi over 3, and this other angle is 6 minus 1/3 is 6/3 is 5 pi over 3. Okay, so the procedure is first solve for cos for your function, then find the reference angle from the chart. Don't worry about minuses if you have any. Then use the quadrants, add sugar to coffee, check where your cos or sine is positive or negative, and complete the final answer. Now we have B. Sine 4 sine square theta minus 1 is equal to 0. First, we need to solve it for the sine square theta. So I'm bringing this 1 over. So I have 4 sine square theta is equal to bring this over. So it's gonna be 0 plus 1, which is 1. Now I need to isolate for sine square. So I divide by 4. Divide by 4. 4 and 4 cancel out. So I have that sine square theta is equal to 1/4. Now you do need to solve it for sine. If I have sine square, how do we solve it for sine? We take square root. Whenever you take square root, you need to put plus or minus. So we have sine theta is equal to plus or minus square root of 1/4. Square root of 1/4 is nothing else but 1/2 because root of 4. So sine theta is equal to plus or minus 1/2. And now, as before, do not worry about plus minus. Find the reference angle from the chart. Where does the sine theta is equal to 1/2? For what angle? If we look into the chart, sine theta is 1/2 for what angle? For pi over 6. So my reference angle theta reference is pi over 6. And now I need to complete the solution using the sign. In that case I have plus and minus, so I'm gonna be in each and every quadrant. So plus and minus is pluses is add sugar to coffee. Pluses are in those two and minus in those two. So I need to complete 4 angles. This is my angle 1. This is my angle 2. This angle is, the reference angle is pi over 6, I'm sorry. The reference angle is pi over 6. So this one is pi, and we need to think in terms of 6. So this would be 6 over 6 pi. Okay? And then I need to have this angle, and then I need to have this angle. So my theta is equal to, first angle is pi over 6, second angle is short whole pi minus that 1/6. So this gives me 6 over 6 minus 1/6 gives me 5 pi over 6. But this angle is whole pi plus the reference angle. So whole pi plus that pi over 6 or 1/6. So 6 plus 1/6 gives me 7/6 of pi. And the last angle is whole revolution, which is 2 pi, or in terms of 6s. 2 in terms of 6 is nothing else but 12/6 pi. So we have 12/6 and we are short of 1/6 pi 6. So 12/6 minus 1/6 gives me 11 pi over 6. That's the final answer for this question. I will show one more time for those who don't see it. How did we get the angles? How do we get the angles? That's important to see. Okay, we know that the reference angle is pi over 6. So first that would be my angle number 1. Then I need to be angle in the second quadrant. So this would be the angle number 2. Okay, so this reference angle is pi over 6. Which is nothing else, pi over 6, it's nothing else but 1/6 pi. Okay, and now this angle, we know that the reference angle is pi over 6 or 1/6 pi. What is this angle? What is this angle? The whole straight angle is pi right here. And you need to think in terms of 6. 1 in terms of 6 is 6 over 6 pi. Okay, so now you have 6 over 6 minus 1/6 gives you this 5/6. So this angle is 5 pi over 6. This angle is 5 pi over 6. Okay, and then the next angle is the angle right here. Is this angle. That's the next angle. Okay, so the same as we had before. We have 6/6 plus that 1/6. 6/6 plus 1/6 gives me 7/6 or 7 pi over 6. And similarly for the last one, which is 12/6 minus 1/6 gives me 11/6. Example C. First we need to solve for the function for cos. So I bring this 3 over. So I have square root of 2 cos theta. I would have 2 minus 3. So that gives me square root of 2 cos theta. 2 minus 3 is minus 1. Okay, now I divide by square root of 2. This cancel out. So I have cos theta is equal to minus 1 over root 2. I look into my chart, I don't have 1 over root 2. So I'm gonna rationalize this. Rationalize means get rid from the root, from the denominator. Get rid of the root from the denominator. So I'm gonna multiply times root 2 times root 2. We multiply by what's on the bottom. So then we get that cos theta is equal to minus 1 times root 2 is minus root 2. Root 2 times root 2 is root of 4, which is 2. Now I can look into my chart and find the reference angle. Cos theta is equal to root 2 over 2. We don't worry about the minus. The minus, we get the quadrant. So root 2 over 2 cos is pi over 4. So my theta reference is pi over 4. And now my cos is negative. My cos is negative, so I have add sugar to coffee. All positive, sign positive. So cos is negative right there, and cos is negative right there. So I need to find this angle, and I need to find this angle. Okay? So this one, the whole straight angle is pi. In terms of force, pi, which is 4 over 4 pi. Okay? My reference angle is pi over 4 or 1/4. So 4/4 minus 1/4 gives me 3/4. So my first solution is 3 pi over 4 or 3/4 pi. And the second solution, I have the pi plus my reference angle, because this one is pi over 4 as well. So 4/4 plus 1/4 gives me 5/4 and pi. And that's my solution. You find the reference angle from the chart and complete according to the sign, whether you are positive or negative. In that case we are negative, so negative cos is in the second and in the third quadrant. More examples. D. Tangent 3 theta is equal to 1 over root 3. This one I would treat that this is my reference angle, that this would be my 1 theta. Then I have tangent theta is 1/3, 1 over root 3. Nothing else we can do but look into the chart to find the reference angle. So my reference angle, theta reference, or in that case it would be 3 theta reference. Theta reference, 1 over root 3 for tangent is pi over 6. Pi over 6. It is a good idea to draw the chart each and every time, then you would learn the chart. So now we do need to complete that tangent is positive. As before, tangent is positive at sugar to coffee. Tangent is positive in the first and in the third quadrant. So I have those two angles. But this time it's 3 theta, it's not theta. 3 theta is, first one is pi over 6. And the next one is whole pi plus 1/6. So pi in terms of 6 is 6 over 6 pi plus 1/6 gives me 7 pi over 6. But now I need to go more. And why? Now I would like to solve it for theta, so I would divide by 3. I would divide each and every one by 3. So what I have 3 theta is pi over 6. We divide by 3, divide by 3. This cancel out. So theta is equal to divide by 3 is like 3 over 1. This would give me pi over 6 times, flip it over, 1/3. So this gives me pi over 18. Pi over 18. So in other words, I multiply each and every one by 1/3. So this gives me, the theta gives me pi over 18. And then when I divide this by 3 or multiply times 1/3, is 3 theta is equal to 7 pi over 3 over 6. I divide by 3. I divide by 3. It's like 3 over 1. So that means I have 7 pi over 6 times 1/3. So it gives me 7 pi over 18. 7 pi over 18. I need to go more. I need to have more of those angles because the tangent is compressed. Tangent is compressed 3 times. So I need to go 3 revolutions. I need to go 3 revolutions. So the first one is pi over 6. Now if I go one more revolution, my first angle is right here. If I go one more revolution, what I'm getting? It would be 2 pi plus this one. 2 pi in terms of 6s is 12/6 pi. So I need to go 12/6 plus that reference angle 1/6. 12 plus 1 gives me 13 pi over 6. So basically I added plus 2 pi or 12/6 pi. I added 12/6 pi. And the same I'm doing for the next one. I'm adding I'm adding 12, so 7 plus 12 is 19, 6 pi. Okay, I added the same plus 2 pi to the other one. This one is plus 12 over 6 pi. Okay, so now if I divide by 3 or multiply 1/3, I'm getting 13 pi over 18, and then this one I divide by 3, I'm getting 19 pi over 18. So I still am a little bit less than 1 pi, and I need to go up to 2 pi. So I need to go one more revolution. So the same, I'm adding plus 12 6 pi. I'm adding 12 6 pi. So 13, it would be 25 6 pi. This gives me right up to here. And the same right here. I'm adding 12 pi over 6. So 19 plus 12 is 31 pi over 6. And then when I divide by 3 or multiply time 1/3, I have 25 over 18 pi, and then 31 over 18 pi. And that's my final answer. I do need to go 3 revolutions because I had 3 theta. This is my 1 revolution, second one, and that's my third one. To get this just next revolutions, we are adding 2 pi, or in terms of 6 is 12 over 6. 12 over 6, 12 over 6 plus. Example E. 3 secant minus 1 is equal to 2. First, I need to solve for secant theta. So I'm bringing this 1 over. So I have 3 secant theta is equal to 2 plus 1. So we have 3 secant theta is equal to 3. Divide by 3. 3 secant theta divide by 3. 3 divide by 3. This cancel out. So I have secant theta is equal to 1. Now we need reference angle. We don't have secant, so I need to change secant is 1 over cos theta is equal to 1. 1 is like 1 over 1. I need to solve for cos, so I cross multiply. Cos times 1 is cos theta is equal to 1. For what angle cos theta is 1? When I look into my chart, I don't have 1. I don't have 1. 1 is called the quadrato angle. I'm getting this from the graph of cos theta. If I draw the graph, I know that graph of cos theta has V shape. Here is 2 pi. In the middle is pi. Here is half and half pi. So where cos theta is 1, cos theta has value 1 at this point, so theta is 0. And cos theta has 1 at this point, theta is 2 pi. So that's my solution. Example 2. Solve each equation, give a general formula for the solution. We have cos theta is equal to root 2 over 2. We are doing as before, find the reference angle. Theta reference. Theta reference is, I'm getting this from the chart. Cos theta is root 2 over 2. Cos theta is root 2 over 2, 4 pi over 4. So theta reference is pi over 4. Now I'm getting where my cos theta is positive. I need to draw the quadrants. Add sugar to coffee. Cos is positive in the first and in the fourth, so I'm looking for this angle and this angle. So my theta is equal to pi over 4, and the second one is short of pi over 4. Whole revolution minus pi over 4. Whole revolution is 2 pi, and in terms of fours, 2 in terms of 4 is 8/4 pi. So 8/4 minus that 1/4 gives me 7/4 pi. That would be the solution within one revolution, 0 to 2 pi. And now we can go another revolution, another revolution, another revolution. So my theta is equal to pi over 4 plus 2 pi, another 2 pi, another 2 pi, another 2 pi. So we can write that this is 2 pi times a multiple k, times a multiple of pi. And theta would be equal 7/4 pi plus 2 pi times some k, where k is an integer. Is an integer. N is an integer. Okay, where a is an integer. Because integer means 0, 1, 2, 3. So substitute 0. 2 pi times 0 is 0, so my solution is pi over 4. We have pi over 4. If I substitute 1, I have 2 pi times 1 is 2 pi, so I have pi over 4 plus 2 pi, so that's one more revolution. If I substitute 2, that would be 2 revolutions, 3 revolutions, and so on. An integer is also a negative number, so I can multiply by minus, because we know that the cos function goes in positive and negative direction as well. So those two is a general formula for the solution. Basically it goes with the period, plus 2 pi times period, 2 pi k. Example B. Sine theta is equal to minus root of 3 over 2. Square root, not cube. Square root of 3 over 2. So first we need to find theta reference. We are getting theta reference from the chart. So sine root 3 over 2, sine root 3 over 2 is 4 pi over 3. So pi over 3 is my reference angle. Now I'm checking where my sine is negative. Add sugar to coffee. Sine is negative in this quadrant and in this quadrant. So I need to get this angle and I need to get this angle. Okay, here is pi in terms of 3 is 3 over 3. And this is 2 pi if you go whole revolution. So 2 pi, 2 in terms of 3 is 6/3 pi. So this one is plus my reference angle plus pi thirds or 1/3. 3/3 plus 1/3 gives me 4/3. And this one is whole revolution shorter of 1/3. So 6/3 minus 1/3 is 5/3 pi. And that's within one revolution. Now we can go one more around, and one more around, and one more around. So we have plus 2k pi, 2 pi times k. Wait, k is an integer, plus 2 pi times k, where k is an integer. That's a general solution.